Hi, good morning, everybody. I am not sure if there's going to be a few more joining, but I thought just going to go ahead and start. Anyway, now I know I have been pretty much out of my routine, my habits, my kind of regular work, going to work, scheduling meetings. And while I had it in my diary, completely forgot about this one. So I think it's more than important to do it anyway. I'm hearing a lot of people struggling at the moment, getting back into routine. I'm finding it hard to get back into routine. I don't want to get back into routine. I'm looking forward to getting back into routine. And because I think it's such an important topic and it's on so many people's minds when we're going back to school, that I want to go ahead with this presentation. So I have prepared a little bit. That's where I was good. And I am going to share the screen. And you can hopefully see that. Is it sharing screen? You are sharing screen, and I am going back to the beginning, and I want to do on slideshow from the beginning. There we go. So, getting back into routine. These are the comments that I hear. I really just need to get back into routine, but I can't find the willpower. I haven't got the willpower. I'm really struggling to getting back into routine after the summer holidays. This year feels particularly tough. I just can't motivate myself. And this one, the last one, that's me. It's about time I get back into routine. I keep forgetting things. Does any of these sound familiar? Does any of these sound like you? Yeah, let me know. I would love to know, maybe in the chat box, in the comment box, if you're listening to the playback, what are your thoughts about routine? Now, what the objective is of this presentation, why I really want to go ahead with it, is I want to create awareness around routine, habits, motivation, and commitment. And I want to show you some simple steps to get back into a routine. And because obviously the area I work in, I want to show you how to get back into healthier routine. So, if you're getting back into a routine now, why not incorporate some little healthy habits into it? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ilona Madden. I'm running a business, a nutrition and health coaching business called Right Food for You. And the reason how I got into this was because in my early 40s, I would have described myself as that hangry, tired, moody, stressed person. From somebody who is constantly tired and struggling with energy levels, I am now somebody who I can honestly say I have lots of energy. I love my food. I'm eating plenty. And I can go at the same time long periods without eating. And I would feel so much more balanced and happier than I was in my early 40s. I thought this information, I experienced it myself by working with a nutritional therapist. But this knowledge is too important not to share. And that's why I decided I want to study this. So I studied health and nutrition coach, but even that wasn't enough for me. I wanted to know the science. I wanted to know everything behind it. And I went on to study nutritional therapy. I worked with Dr. Eva Orsmond in the diabetes and weight loss clinic. But now I'm running my own programs, my presentations, courses, and so on. So let's go ahead, because you don't want to hear about me, but how can I help you? Now, first of all, I know there are so many presentations, so many talks out, and I do sometimes tend to do 100 million other things at the same time. What I would like you to do for this short presentation to be fully present, to be in the present moment. And a very easy way to get into the present moment is take your cup of tea. If you have a cup of tea, hold it in both hands. The warmth of it gives you this comforting feeling. And if you take a sip of it, this feeling of kind of swallowing, this like the warmth going down into your body, this can ground you, this can bring you into this moment. You know, feel the cup, maybe look into it. If you have a herbal tea, smell it, taste it, and just maybe use that for in other times, you know, when you're out having a cup of coffee, a tea or whatever. Hold it with both hands and cuddle it and look at it and just enjoy that. So let's all be fully present. And I want to ask you at the end of this presentation, what is your take-home message? And which of those suggestions that I'm giving you are you going to implement straight away? What is routine? We usually think about getting back into routine in September, when the kids go back to school, but also in January, when we have the New Year's resolutions. But looking at the definition, what is a routine? It's a sequence of actions regularly followed. Or it's performed as part of a regular procedure rather than a special occasion. So when we look at that, sometimes routines can have negative connotation, you know, oh gosh, everything is so routine, you know, and it's often perceived as, you know, if everything goes through routine, it's like boring, you know, kind of sameness all the time. But I would like to know from you, I mean, even just maybe giving you a moment to think about it, you know, what are the positive things of not having a routine? So what did you enjoy during your summer holidays? Why did you go into this without a routine kind of mode? Just think about it. What is it? This kind of this freedom, doing what you want to do, not following a plan. But what do you not like about being out of routine? You know, what is it that you suddenly feel, oh gosh, I have to get back into the routine? So I have kind of created a little table. What we find positive about routine is the regularity, and whether we like it or not, a routine gives us that sense of security. It means it's less stressful on our bodies if we can follow a routine. It gives us a clear focus. It gives us a sense of control, which is extremely important in those times, uncertain times like the whole COVID thing. But it also gives us a sense of purpose, and having a sense of purpose, having a purpose in our lives and so on, is proven to be positive, having positive effects on our health. Yeah, the negative is that it could be perceived as being boring. If we're out of a routine, it can lead to forgetfulness, as I mentioned earlier, that I'd simply forgot to publish this event. Decision-making fatigue. When we don't follow routine, i.e., let's say we are on holidays, and I don't know if you might have experienced it, you have a day with the family, you sit at breakfast table. So what are we going to do today? You have loads of options, but you just can't make up your mind. Everyone has a different opinion. You have to make, if we do this, we can't do that, and so on. So it's quite hard sometimes having to make a decision. And the more decisions we have to make, the harder it gets. And I don't know if you heard that example of, do you know why Steve Jobs always wore the same clothes, black polo neck shirt? And he says, he has to make so many decisions throughout the day in his business that getting dressed in the morning, making a decision of what to wear is just, one less decision. So just wearing the same clothes all the time is, I don't have to make a decision about it. And that can help. So looking at my nutrition courses, sometimes I do recommend people just having, the same, and a lot of people, maybe older people, have that the same every Monday, every Tuesday, every weekday, the different type of meal. So I don't have to think about it anymore. A lot of my clients ask me to write out a plan for them, a food plan, that I just tell them to just tell me what to eat, because this is a decision less to make. So when you have that routine, you don't have to decide every single day. If you're out of routine, you can get distracted easily. But this means that you can get annoyed at yourself for forgetting things or for not getting things done. Being out of routine means that you don't have the structure, and you get that sense of feeling out of control. So this very clever person said, when people don't have a routine or structure to their day, it can cause increased stress and anxiety, as well as overwhelming feelings and lack of concentration and focus. So that just summarizes it. So this is just why I think it's so important to get back into a good routine. And routine and habits are very much linked to each other. Now, we all talk about habits, and there's loads and loads of these motivational quotes about habits. One I always say, create healthy habits, but not restrictions, because a lot of people see healthy eating as being on a diet and restricting, and I can't have this and I can't have that. But that's not really what I'm about, and that's not what I advocate. I would like my clients to get into healthier routines, healthier habits on an ongoing basis, rather than just a short-term thing. And that the thing is, when we talk about good habits that people have now, especially when it comes to health and wellness, going for a run, going for exercise every morning, preparing your meals, eating nutritious foods, they have long-term results. It's often quite far in the future, in the distance. Whereas when we talk about bad habits, whether that's smoking, whether that's binge eating, whether that's eating sweets or whatever, it's usually an instant gratification. That's why, it seems so much easier to stick or to keep up the bad habits rather than good ones. And we talk about willpower, that we require willpower to create good habits. Now, willpower is, in my opinion, completely overrated. I think, willpower is like something, you have it for a short moment, or same as motivation. It's very much dependent on how you feel. It can go away quite easily. You can only have so much. But for some reason, a lot of people think, those people that have good habits, they just have more willpower than I do. But that is not the case. Habits and creating habits, and everyone can create good habits. And that's where I come in, what I would like to share today with you. So the very first point of creating new habits is creating awareness. And that's really what I want to do today in this very brief presentation. Creating awareness, because everything we do, or most things that we do, happen subconsciously. We're not aware of them, that they happen. They're somewhere in our subconscious mind. And if we look, like, this is a very simplified version of our brain, but we have basically different parts of our brain. But that part where we have emotions, memories, that older part of our brain, the hunter-gatherers, but also a lot of other mammals and dogs, for example, have it. is there's no awareness there. The awareness happens in the prefrontal cortex, which is the newer part of the brain, which is the human part of the brain. But our actions and a lot of things that we do happen in this brain are driven by emotions. So if you're spending your summer, you're doing the things you love to do, you're kind of doing what you feel like. You can have a lie-in, you can have whatever breakfast outdoors. You do the things you enjoy. That's very much driven by this part, by the emotions. And now suddenly there's a structure again, or comes, you have to bring the kids to school, you have to go back to work, you have to be at a certain place at a certain time. And this is something that's kind of, frightening us because we lose this kind of sense of, kind of doing what we like to do. But now we have to, pay focused attention again. Creating this awareness that this is what's going on. Again, also going back to the good habits and bad habits. The bad habits is this reward, this instant reward. When we eat a piece of cake or a chocolate or have alcohol or whatever, anything that is kind of nice and gives us that instant gratification is so much easier to stick to. But what we need to do is to attach this emotion, to attach this feeling of well-being to the good habits, to the long-term outcome. So I hope this all makes sense. Now we take a little break, center ourselves in the moment, and take in that little cup of tea. Now, if I had an audience, I would love to know what you think of these two different brains, the one telling you to go on a diet and the other one giving out. I mean, this is a constant struggle that is very common. But we have the awareness now. So I hope I have kind of brought it back. Maybe you kind of even stop and think about it. Why was it so enjoyable being out of the routine during your summer holidays, or the next time you will be out of routine is in the next holidays or at Christmas? Why is it so enjoyable? And why is it so hard to get back? So there is this connection between good habits, bad habits, and instant gratification. So now that you are aware, the second step is action. And action, we do take action here in this prefrontal cortex, where we focusing, where we have control over it, we have free will, we're judging, and we're planning. That's what makes us human. But the important thing then is this is a bit of effort. This is a bit of, takes action, takes, actively doing something. But the great thing about this is if we do that often enough, it becomes automatic and it goes back into our subconscious mind. And that's the great thing. So the 3 steps are creating awareness about what habit we want to change and why we want to change it. Taking action, the second step, that is the first one. And by doing it constantly, by doing it, just making yourself do it, it'll become automatic. And then it's easy. Then you don't have to think about whether you are gonna eat healthy, whether you're gonna go out to exercise, whether you go to your gym, whether you cook from scratch. You don't think about whether, do I feel like cooking now? Would I rather go and get it? You don't. It'll be automatic. And that is the beauty of it. When does action, so action is the hard part. That's the, I'm not trying to say it's easy to create habits, but when does it actually become easy to create a habit? First of all, you need to know your why. And I think it was Steve Jobs, I'm not 100%, but if you know your why, the how to do it becomes easy. So if you have a very strong enough reason for doing something, or why you should be doing something, why you need to, why you must create that new habit, you will find ways. If something is important enough to you, you will find the how, you will find out ways to do it, because, nobody needs to tell you that. If it's, and if you think back at anything important you've ever done in your life, you found ways around it. Anything that's been difficult. So define what you really want and why. So people come to me saying, I want to lose a bit of weight. I feel, I don't like myself anymore. I don't feel comfortable in my body. I want to lose weight. So if I ask then, why do you want to lose weight? Oh, well, yeah. Would be nice. But unless you're very clear on why, if you go digging really deep, yeah, I want to fit into my dress again. Why do you want to fit into that dress? Well, I just think that would look much better. And what does that mean? Yeah, it would really mean a lot to me if I looked at photographs and I like myself. I would feel more confident about it. I would feel really proud if I could lose weight. So when you go into deeper, when you go step by step and you understand why, it'll be easier, and you will find ways. You won't have to find somebody to tell you how and why. Goal setting is really important, and most of us have heard the SMART goal. So the goal that you're giving yourself about weight loss, about other health issues, has to be specific. Kind of just to lose weight is not specific enough. You have to say the amount of, how many kilos do you want to lose? How many pounds do you want to lose? What is your ideal weight? Make it measurable. So yeah, have a scale or a measuring tape or your trousers you want to fit into whatever you're going to use. Is it achievable? Is it something that you can really do? Is it realistic? Are you is it a fancy dream? And is it time bound? So instead of just saying, yeah, I want to lose 10 pounds, give yourself a date by when. But the really important thing, and where I want to go a bit further, is having smarter goals. And the goal has to be exciting. I want to lose weight. That's not exciting, but I want to look great in my beautiful dress that I haven't fitted in for ages, or in the dress that I saw in the shop, or whatever. That's exciting. That's an exciting goal. And have a little reward. What are you going to do? I mean, obviously, if it's a weight loss thing, don't make your reward food related, but something nice, because that is exciting. That's exciting for your subconscious mind. So having great goals. But what's also important is that whatever your goal is, it has to be with your values. It has to fit into your values. And this is a list of values, accomplishment, calmness, caring, friendship, freedom, happiness, health, love, loyalty, trust, tolerance, so that it's all kind of certain values that we all live by. But they have to be yours. So how do you know, when I sometimes ask, what are the things you would choose from that list of values? What do you really value? Most people look into what they should be saying. So family is my value, let's say. But quite often I've noticed family can be a should value. Yeah, of course it should be. It should really include my family. Or health should be my goal, my value. But you will know your values. What really is important to you is the things you do at ease, the things you don't have to be forced to be doing, the So for example, if you find it easy to go out and play golf every day because you get a great buzz from playing good golf, maybe your value is something around competitiveness. Maybe that's a very strong value that you have. So you're finding it easy to go out and play a competition. Now, what you surround yourself with, what you find in your house, in your room, what are your books all about? So if I look over at my bookshelf, there's a lot of books about health and fitness. This is really high in my values. And what are you happy to spend money on? Now, I have no problem spending money on the gym membership. It's a bit more expensive than the standard one because that is something I value. Other people who maybe, let me just see, maybe one, appearance could be a value, and you would have no problem spending money on nice clothes or a new hairdo, or, so these things that are important to us, our values, if we follow them, the action of taking action is easy. So I hope that this makes sense. So for example, if health is just kind of a should value, I should really value my health, but deep down you actually value your, let's say going back to the golf, the competitiveness is higher on your value list, you will go out and play golf. Okay, it has a health benefit as well. But for example, if your family value is very strong, and that is something that's so important, and that's something you constantly prioritize, what can you do? How can you maybe use healthy eating by valuing your family? So that's what I'm trying to say. Could you engage your kids in the cooking process? Could you, so when you realize that you being healthy, you eating a good diet is also helping your family, it'll become easier. I hope that makes sense. So if the health, I should be losing weight, is only assured on a value that you kind of, because you should be following it, but it's not true to yourself. When it becomes easy is when you attach it to a value you already have. I know it might be a bit complicated, but it's something that, maybe just being aware of it at the moment and then looking into it and maybe just thinking about it might become clearer over time. So the actions that I do always recommend is writing things down. Now, I had this event in my diary. I did forget the final thing of making it public, but I'm here now today because it's in my diary. Making a plan is absolutely vital. I'm always talking about writing your meal plan, writing it down, writing down your routine schedule, but also tracking it. There's no point in just having a plan and not double checking that we've done it. So I'm a big fan of checklists as well. Making a commitment, committing to what you say. Yeah, I committed. I said I'm going to do this talk today. I'm committed. No, it would have been much easier. I haven't got many people booked it. Well, in fact, I'm on my own now doing it. I could have easily just said, no, I'll go out for a walk instead and have a coffee in my favorite coffee shop. But I committed to doing that. I have it written down. I'm doing it. End of story. Whether I like it or not, it's a commitment. And if you commit to whatever, going to a gym, if you commit to preparing your meals, that's half the battle. But also, getting the information. So understanding why you benefit from eating more vegetables, for example. Understanding what they do in your body and why it's important. That's another part of the whole equation. And don't think you have to do it all on your own. I find sometimes people telling me, yeah, I know exactly what I have to do. I know I should be eating more vegetable. I know I shouldn't be eating that. but sometimes it's just really getting support. I mean, that's what we're all here for. That's what a community is for. That's why I do coaching. That's why I do trainings. It's because I want to give that support, and because I realize it's not it's not a point of failing when you're asking for help. I'm constantly asking for help. I'm constantly listening to other coaches. I'm constantly learning. And that's why others in this area, in this coaching and help, the wellness health industry, why they are actually, doing it, because they want to help. And, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually, in my opinion, a sign of strength. Having an accountability body, having somebody you're accountable for. Again, my coaches in the gym, they check if I'm not here, if I'm not showing up. I'm asked, where are you? Where have you been? Everything okay? But having somebody else to report to say, yep, I've done this, and so on. And the last but not least is maybe something a bit surprising. I'm going back into my mindful moment of having a sip in my warm tea. Practicing mindfulness. A lot of people still think mindfulness is something for relaxation or a bit of, if you're stressed, whatever. What mindfulness and meditation does, though, it's changing the way you think. It is creating that awareness. So what happens if you practice mindfulness? You actually catch yourself when you're out of, when you have thoughts that are not helpful, when you're, when you have negative thoughts, you recognize them as thoughts or feelings, but you don't internalize them. So something a lot of people come up to me saying, oh, I feel so bad. I just, I have I'm such a bad dieter. I'm such a bad eater. I'm a fuzzy eater. Oh, I have a sweet tooth, So a lot of times people identify themselves with their habits or with, whatever they do or don't do. What mindfulness teaches you, it shows you your thought pattern. And that creates that awareness. And that awareness is the first step before you can actually change habits, because you need to be aware of how you're thinking and what you're doing in order to take action. So I find mindfulness meditation and compassionate mindfulness in particular, where you're actually kind to yourself, absolutely vital in order to create, to take action. And as I said, the third step then is when it becomes automatic and when it's subconscious. This is just something, again, something I would tell my clients during, if I do a one-to-one program with my clients, or in the upcoming course, my 4-week nutrition challenge, where I really pay a lot of emphasis on is meal planning and prepping and having your meals prepared, planning for your week. So what I like to do with my clients is I help them plan their week. So instead of just handing out the nutrition plan saying you have to eat this for breakfast, this for lunch, and that for dinner, we work out the days. So your schedule, how does your day actually look like? What time do you get up at? What time do you have to drop the kids to? When do you have to be in the office? When do you actually get a lunch break? Do you go out for lunch? Do you stay in for lunch? Do you have a canteen? All of those things. Which nights of the week are you planning to go out and have dinner? Are you going to friends? Are you having friends over? All of those things, we write them into the weekly planner first. We anticipate difficulties. We check which days can you actually do the shopping? What days have you got the time to do the cooking? So this is a plan we create for the week. And the better prepared you are, the less likely can actually fail, you know. So isn't it, if you don't prepare or prepare to fail, sorry, I can't think of it anyway, fail to prepare, anyway, look, you know what I mean. So basically, we write a meal plan. We have the meal plan for the week. And what I want to do then is not just having the plan. What I said earlier, you also need to track it. You take the plan every day, you check, what have I done? What have I actually had? So instead of then having the plan on the one hand and the food diary on another, your plan should be the food diary. So what you've planned is what you actually had. So all you need to do then at the end of the day, yes, I had that breakfast. Yes, I had that lunch. Yes, I had that dinner. Or another day, no, I didn't get around to that lunch. But what happened? Yeah, well, this friend of mine called and she asked me if I want to join her to go out for lunch. So instead of the lunch you had prepared, cross it out and you put in what you actually had. This helps you understand. If that happens once a week or once a month, it's not a big deal, but if it happens every single day, there's no point in you planning a meal if you so much more prefer to have your lunch with your friends. So this is going to happen over and over again, that you go out with a friend instead of what you actually plan. So that is sort of where the meal planning and the food diary should in theory be the same. And again, that is something I talk a lot about in my courses, in my programs, and ask my clients to do. So this is, that's really it. So I hope you found that useful. I would love to hear your comments. You know, I'm going to share this video on my social media. If you want to let me know your take-home message. And I would like to know, what of the suggestions really resonate? Which are you going to try out? What are you going to do straight away? Take action now. That is my motto. You know, whatever you do, it doesn't have to be complete revamp of whatever your diet or your routine or whatever, but do something now. Because in a week, in a month, or even a year from now, you wish you had started today. You know, I hear that over and over again. People have a chat with me and decide, you know, or life takes over, whatever. A year later, a month later, they come back. Oh gosh, I wish I had started with you back then. So, you know, don't wait. Don't try to be perfect. Don't wait for the perfect moment, but make a commitment now. So how can I help? Now, as I mentioned earlier, I don't just hand you a nutrition plan. I try to hand you the confidence to actually stick to the plan. And I support you, I hold you accountable, and together we are creating lasting habits. I listen. So that's my last, you know, L-A-S-T, last, listening. So I'm listening to your story, you know, your lifestyle. What are you doing? What are you eating at the moment? What are you struggling with? And so on. I listen. Then I give advice based on the knowledge, on all the studying that I've done, practical advice. I explain why it is a good idea to eat more vegetables, not just say you should be eating more. I give you the advice, so by understanding what's going on in your body, it might be easier for you to actually take the action. But I give you the support whenever you struggle, find other ways, new ways around it. And if need be, and that's where the big difference is to many other nutrition advisors or coaches, as a nutritional therapist, I can actually do the tests. So I can do stool tests, I can do food intolerance tests to see what is really underlying. DNA test even, you know, is it really in your genes, the diabetes or whatever? I can do that test, and that test can show you a very personalized diet or nutrition plan. If all of this sounded interesting. Let's have a chat. You know, if you go on my website, rightfoodforyou.ie, or my Facebook or Instagram, you can book in a discovery call to find out more about me. I learn more about you, and we can see and find out together whether I can help you. You can send me an email as well at ilona@rightfoodforyou.ie, or this link, Right Food for You appointment. IS is acuity scheduling me, so you can book in a chat with me. But you can get the link for that, to arrange an appointment. You get the link on the website as well, or on the social media. So the next thing that's coming up is my 4-week nutrition transformation course, which is a group course, which is online. So you can just join in every Saturday at 11 o'clock, starting on the 18th of September, 4 Saturdays in a row. And I'll be sharing information about nutrition, about giving you the clarity, because I know it's a confusing world out there. What is healthy? What is not? What should I be eating? Should I eat more of this? All of that confusion. I want to get you clarity, explain you the facts, the latest nutrition science, but also in that group environment, give you the motivation, the support and accountability over those 4 weeks, and give you that help to get back into a routine. How much is that worth to you? You know, how much better will you feel in a month, in 2 months, at the end of the year, by having a nice routine, by having those healthy habits that come naturally without you putting effort in? I know the 4 weeks, you'll have to put some effort in, but after that, you know, you have a really good foundation to creating those healthy habits. Just think about how much would that be worth to you, to just not having to worry, not having the struggle of going on a diet, but having created that as easy, and it'll come as naturally when you wake up in the morning. You don't think about it. You don't think whether you like it or not. You go out for your walk, or you go to your gym, you prepare your healthy breakfast, and it just happens. The same way as you brush your teeth, as you drive a car, these things that have become habits and become easy. So that's what I love to help you with. Again, I'd love to hear all the comments. Again, these are my contact details, and I'd love to hear from you. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to stop share the screen, and I hope you found it useful. I hope you got something out of it, and I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to stop the recording now.